The appearance of Russia's Sukhoi Su-57, NATO Felon, twin-engine stealth multi-role fighter outside of Russia for the first time at China's Zhuhai 2024 International Air Show evoked the high level of interest that Moscow probably hoped for, but not in the way it transpired. Two of the aircraft were dispatched to the show. The first flew in last Monday, and the second was flown in on an An-124 cargo aircraft and reassembled once it arrived. The first Su-57 was to participate in flying demonstrations, while the other was set up as part of the static display. Visitors to the air show were allowed unrestricted access to the outside of the aircraft, and rather than being impressed by this jewel of Russian aviation, it sparked a deluge of derision on Chinese social media. Close-up photos and videos posted on the internet showed a wide range of defects that led to mockery and criticism that seemed to be accentuated by the obviously superior structural qualities of China's own fifth-generation fighter, the Chengdu J-20. While some military commentators pointed out the static Su-57 Bort number, registration number, which gave it the designation T-50-4, serial number 054, indicated it was an early pre-2019 prototype, but did not excuse the poor quality that was on display, with some of the defects casting doubt on whether it is truly a stealth aircraft. In short, criticism centered on the following. Fuselage panels were attached to the frame of the aircraft using a huge number of bolts. The heads of some protruded above the surface of the component. The tail section was attached using a hodgepodge of screws and bolts with different fastening slots: Phillips type, crosshead, straight, and hexagonal. The joints of the wings and the doors to the internal weapons compartment with other elements of the fuselage were poorly fitting. Even accepting that the aircraft was assembled on site in a not ideal situation, it seems counterproductive to have demonstrated an aircraft in that condition. While China is not a prospective customer for the Su-57, the Zhuhai show is hosting visitors from Asia, Africa, South America, and the Middle East, who could be potential clients. It seems more likely that Moscow's motivation for sending the aircraft was as an attempt to demonstrate the close defense and technological relationship that now exists between Beijing and Moscow. The motorized battalion within the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade took out Russian heavy equipment, including a T-90M Proriv tank with its turret covered in Contact 1 explosive reactive armor. Joint effort by the 60th and 66th Mechanized Brigades. Putin once boasted that the T-90 tank was the best in the world, claiming it could outperform Western armor on any battlefield. But in Ukraine, this supposed super tank has faced harsh reality. Ukrainian forces have decimated numerous T-90s, with advanced anti-tank missiles and drones targeting their weak points. Footage shows T-90s abandoned or destroyed, failing to live up to the hype. The loss of these tanks has not only impacted Russian morale, but has also cast doubt on Russia's ability to produce reliable modern armor in real combat. Each loss of a T-90 not only exposes its vulnerabilities, but also shatters the myth of Russian armored supremacy, forcing Russia to reconsider its battlefield strategy. And we have more pain for the Russian armor. Joint effort by the 60th and 66th Mechanized Brigades. A Russian BMP was destroyed by FGM-148 Javelin ATGM fire in the Lyman direction. The German defense concern Rheinmetall will soon complete the construction of a second military enterprise in Ukraine. This was stated by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at a press conference with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Berlin. He emphasized that the development of the defense industry is key to the security of Europe and the defense of Ukraine. Rheinmetall just opened the first plant in Ukraine. Construction of the second plant will be completed soon, Rutte said. Rutte added that Rheinmetall has also seriously increased the production of ammunition since 2022. In addition, according to the Secretary General, German industry is extremely important for NATO and Ukraine. Recently, the General Director of Rheinmetall, Armin Paperger, announced his intention to open a total of 4 factories in Ukraine. It will be recalled that the Italian company Leonardo SpA and the German Rheinmetall AG agreed to create a joint venture for the production of military combat vehicles in Europe. Also in April, Lithuania signed a memorandum of understanding with the German defense concern Rheinmetall, which lays the foundation for the construction of an artillery ammunition factory in the country. Russian propagandist Margarita Simonian asks all Russians to donate money to the Russian army. Every person who has such an opportunity should actively participate in helping the front. It's getting harder for Russia to finance its war economy.
I think that everyone who has the ability should actively participate in supporting the front. I know, for instance, a retired lady who sends 1,000 rubles each month from her tiny pension. I am not necessarily calling on every pensioner to do this, but I would like to once again appeal to the wealthy, to affluent people. This is your absolute duty. It should be an internal law. The law right now, while the hostilities continue, is to help. Help civilians, help the front, help the units. If you do not know how, ask us. We have a lot of verified requests from specific units, detailing what needs to be bought, which drones, which anti-drone rifles, and much more.
U.S. State Department, around 10,000 North Korean soldiers have been recorded in Russia's Kursk region and may enter battle in the coming days, per spokesperson Matthew Miller. Though participation hasn't been confirmed, if North Korean forces engage in combat, they will be legitimate targets, Miller emphasized.
So we continue to be greatly concerned about the partnership between North Korea and Russia. You saw the Secretary speak to the fact on Thursday that North Korea has deployed as many as 10,000 troops to Russia, and that we were concerned that they would move to the front lines to enter the fight against Ukraine. As the Secretary said on Friday, that as many as 8,000 North Korean troops had made their way to Kursk. We now assess that as many as 10,000 have made their way to Kursk and could enter combat in the coming days.
Are they in Kursk already? Are they in combat already?
So I have seen public reporting that they are. I can't speak to that definitively, but as we have said, we expected that it was likely that they would enter into combat against Ukrainian forces, and if they did, they would be legitimate military targets.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.